Welcome. It's exciting that Skip and Jamie have entered the century that everyone else has been in for quite a while. We now have a Google Classroom. So you will be our teachers about making sure that we know what to do, and I know that you're always patient with us as we learn new things. So let me just invite you right now. If you see me doing anything that is a long way around or a crazy way to do it, just stop me right then and tell me what to do differently. So Skip sent you the agenda. So I'm going to ask you just to go ahead and click in your agenda now, if you can. And I know you've all been in there to get your Google Meet, so I know you're good. So that way we can see everybody while we're looking at the agenda. So and just in case you just joined, Skip's going to be on a little bit later, but he is at Greg. He's setting in on some interviews. He's being a good servant to Greg and helping people interview folks. So we appreciate him taking that time and doing that. But he won't be long. So let me go back in and admit people. There we go. Okay, let's look at our agenda, and you see that tonight most of what we're going to do is spend time together in small groups and look at our artifacts, just as we had promised. So we always try to give you a heads up on what we're going to do. But please go in, and even if you're watching on the recording, please click on the attendance link and sign in now. And for those of you that are watching on the recording, there are a few people that have had some things come up today. Please go in and there's a place on the attendance place if you're watching it live or if you're watching the recording. So please be sure and do that. So let's take a look. And I will say that this was our first time to send out through Google. So if those Google Classroom notifications drove you crazy, turn off your notifications. I know because you've used Google Classroom that we're not just sitting on top of that sending those out all the time. If it starts sending you a lot, the system does that. I did send out a couple because we need to put you in small groups. And I had never done that before. And that was my own little anxieties, making sure I'd be able to get you in small group in time. So, but just know this, Skip and I never want to put too much pressure on you. It's just we really need to get those in at least. If you can't make it by Sunday night, it's okay with us. If you just go on and put in, like if it's planning or instruction and those kinds of pieces so that we can make your small groups come out. That's what we're up to with that. And I know you figured that out because some of you already did that. So that's great. So when we look at the agenda in just a little bit, we're going to have a Google Meet for each of the small groups because we're going to record each of the small groups. And we'll put those links in the agenda afterward so that if people did not get to watch, they can go back in and watch that small group work together, and they can at least think through those things with even though they're by themselves, it's better than not being able to think through it at all. So when you're in small group tonight, this is what we're going to do, guys. So you've really got quite a bit of time to do that. So everybody's in a group of 3 or 4. And while you're in the group, we're going to ask that each person first of all, please record. Someone make sure you're recording. I'll try to flip in there. I've tried to set it up so you can join without me being in first, but I'll come look and see. I'm going to add right now in the agenda my cell number so you could text me if we get into some kind of crazy problem. Hopefully we won't, but it's Skip and Jamie, so anything can happen. We've had some crazy things happen before with technology. So if you just text me, if you don't mind, if something happens, and then I'll go in and try to remedy the problem. So what we're going to do is that, this is the first time we've really talked about a problem of practice in regard to your classroom artifacts. So we'd like for you to spend time telling, what made this a compelling issue for you, and how does this connect? how does this also connect to your domains and your small group topic? You may even want to tell how it connects to your concept map. I think that would be another thing that you may want to connect to. Talk about your research. How did you address it? What happened? What the impact was, and what are potential next steps? So we need a record. We need not a recorder, but we need a timekeeper. So please, someone be sure and make sure you press record. Please be sure you have a timekeeper. And so spend like 8 to 10 minutes describing that. You can share screen. You can, of course, show your artifact. You're going to be talking more about your evaluation of the artifact, but show the artifact. And then each of you in the small group could spend 2 to 4 minutes talking about it, giving feedback, maybe ask some clarifying questions. Maybe you just want to do some connections. You might have something that you've done that's similar, or someone else you work with that's, worked on something project that's been similar, and you want to share that. So just a sharing time. So that is the bulk of our night. You're going to be on your own. And Skip and I will be clicking in those Google Meets to see you instead of us being in breakout rooms. That's the different part. So are there any questions?
I have a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
In the agenda, it says it's about 70 minutes, which you're saying, it'll take quite a bit of the time. And I'm looking, each candidate will take about 10 minutes to share. If there's only 4 of us, that'll be about, 45 minutes. And then we would give feedback.
Mm-hmm.
I may be missing something else that's going to take up the rest of that time.
It's the feedback. It depends how much time that each person might give in feedback. Might take the extra time.
Okay.
And if it doesn't take that much time, we'll move on.
Okay.
Okay. So each person would have 2 minutes or so to give feedback. It just depends. And if people don't have that much feedback, or if it's similar work and you've already given some feedback and it connects, we might get faster. But we won't just stay on there. Skip and I are going to be coming in, and you can tell us about how you're going, about how it's moving through. But that's why it had the 70 minutes, because it was for each of the other 3 people to give the other feedback each time. So maybe how it's worded is a little different. So each person would have 2 to 4 minutes to give feedback, but it may not take that much. Okay. Great question, Kelsey. Any other questions? Okay. Well, so here's what we do. You can leave this meeting and I will stop recording this one. And we'll come back later. After you do your small group, then we'll come back to this same Google link again. Make sense? Got it? All right. I'm going to turn the recording off for this one. And you guys go to small group, and I'll come around and see you.